Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Today is July 19th, 2023, and this is Nisura Wright. I'm just headed over to the exchange place. This is like a very nice, quaint area. It's kind of like the Medinas, but it is of Spain. And they have like a cool area. But one of the things I want to talk about that's very important is identity theft. Identity theft is when someone takes your identity, your name, your information, and they claim that they're you to access accounts, to go into banks, to sign documents, and it's something that happened to me over the years. It's regardless of the person's age. They can be posing as someone older, younger, to take someone's identity. They can be, but one of the things that should be really, any bank should be aware of is if the person is the total opposite race. They're not even the same color or complexion, they're totally different race. And this is what happened unfortunately in the United States. They allow families, Caucasian families, whether they know that they were born and you saw them on a public television show to show you that this person was a young person and not of the age of the person whose identity they're claiming. The banks and the financial institutions in the United States have allowed, off of the only fact that their skin is of a light white or color complexion, that they've been able to access the family of royalty account, my account. And then even more so is that some of these people are really males posing as women. So not only are they're not even, true in identity, but even their biology is not even true as well to be the person who they're claiming. And the importance of that is because when a woman has a womb, she bears children through her womb. And when someone is a transgender, they don't have a womb. They may dress in a nice, clothing, and they even, have, some of them have, changes of their body parts, but they cannot contain a womb that gives life and give birth to another human. That has not been something historically that's ever been done among the people who are claiming themselves to be two genders, or transitioning from one gender to another gender, I should say. And while I'm a full woman with the biology of a woman with a womb, any child that comes through me is of my lineage. It's through my bloodline. So when someone tries to make that claim and they don't even have a womb, and any children that they have, it would have been a biological child through, and if they're male transitioning to a female, they would have been through their sperm. It wouldn't have been through their womb. So those differences and differentiations are made clearly even when people do DNA tests and they find out who's the father or the mother of a particular, people. They'll find out through varying things. You remember how I said when I record other people are back this young lady, I don't know if you can see her, but she just recorded because she didn't want me to record me and my true light of who I am. She didn't want that to be seen. They like to go back and tell lies and say, oh, that's not really her. This is somebody. So I just wanted to kind of catch that recording that she was trying to do so you can understand who's really who and who's not. Because there's things that are happening that are very serious. There's things that are happening where people are actually going as far as getting, law enforcement involved to say that this person is not who she is, and they can see my skin and who I am, and they know they're not who they are. But it's actually governments who are supportive of this only out of racism, and it's a white supremacy kind of mentality, where even if you are the right person, even if you are, and we see your skin and you're the right, correct person, true person, and you have the true identity, we're not going to acknowledge you. We're going to acknowledge our race that is Caucasian, even though that person does not fit the description, even though that person is not of your age, even though that person is not really have the history or the bloodline, and even the biology of a female, we're going to still say that this person is the rightful person. And that tells me that all of the financial institutions that allow this particular Caucasian to steal from me did not have a right. They didn't do any due diligence in investigating who it was walking into their bank. But you can see when I just do something as simple as just go to a market, they're asking me, can I look into your bag to see what you have before you walk out of the store? Before you walk out of the store. This is the kind of injustice that has to stop. There's a people that has been totally neglected, and totally identity has been taken over by another people, and the world has sat back and watched it and supported it, and did not say anything. Where the people who's doing this, they were known formally as, and historically, as some of the people who were former slaves, and people who were, the surplus poor. They didn't have, but they've been given access to wealth of insurmountable amount, immeasurable wealth, and sitting on thrones and wearing crowns and saying that they're of this bloodline. And when you go back just 1 or 2, 4 generations back, the person that of the original bloodline was my skin color. It was the whitewashing of history. And I'm making this video because, it's so important. I mentioned a long time ago about, I wasn't interested in allowing my identity to go to various people, whether it be, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it was, the Kardashians, whoever. If they're stealing people's identities, if they're taking people's faces and walking into banks and signing off documents saying they're Nisura Wright or any of my family members, and they're not, and they do not wear the face, they do not have the crown, they can never be, and they're not even biologically that person, then they definitely, and they're continuing with their pursuit, then definitely they need to be arrested for what they're doing. Not me. I'm the right person and my true skin. I'm not running around saying I'm Kylie Jenner. I'm who I am, unlike someone that you can see behind me. I'm saying who I am. I'm Nisura Wright. And I stand true to who I say I am. I'm not going to any bank signing any documents as anyone else other than who I am. So when I see a fraud, I call out a fraud. So this is Nisura again, right? And this is, today is the 19th of July 2023, and I just wanted to make that clear because I don't want anyone to believe that they can take the history of the Prophetess Maryam and claim it when they know they don't have a right to even do that. That is not only being disobedient to their creator, but that is outright incorrect. You know, they can't do that. You can't claim the history of prophets and messengers that was on the earth because you want them to look like a Caucasian or white, a certain skinned person. No. And no country on the earth should be in support of that. And a lot of these people, as I mentioned, they were, you know, their history does not even go back to anywhere of that prominence or that wealth or any of those things that occurred. And they're able to turn around and steal. Now in the Quran they talk about a certain people, and the Most High talk about them, and he called them, he says in the last days, some of them are going to be like the better of them, and some of them are like really disobedient, that they were disobedience on the earth. And the term that they use is called, that was translated into English, was blue-eyed criminals. People who steal. I mean, when I say steal, they will steal the very, you know, like I laid my bag down and before I knew it, someone just picked it up and took it. Didn't have any consciousness of, hey, I'm on the Holy Land. Hey, this is the land of the Most High. We're supposed to act a particular way here. No consciousness of anything, just turn around and it's theft. This is the kind of mentality that certain people have. I don't know, you know, in detail, but this is how a certain people are described in the Quran. And I'm looking at a certain people that are stealing the history of another people, and they're doing it for criminality, to take someone's wealth and money. So I'm just making this, you know, so not against any people as a whole, but to point out the things that are happening on the earth, that when the Most High says this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. It's just the point of being able to point out the people who are doing it. And he said that some of them are better than others. So, you know, I just want to make this video to make it very, very clear who's who and what has happened here. And how can someone have protection and they don't have the face or the history? And the people who understands the true Maryam, the true history of the Bani Israel people, and the true faces of the Bani Israel people, they can attest to how this person is, how these people look, and understand that anyone else stepping in, especially if they don't even have a womb, they're something totally different, you know, than being a female. They're a male, and Maryam was the whole of her life is the Virgin Maryam. She had a child. She had to have a womb for that child to come out of. That's the whole thing. Everyone talks about how she bore the child. The child didn't just miraculously appear. She had a womb in order to deliver the child, to birth the child into the world. And so that the womb was there. So anyone who's a male, you know, you have a different, you don't have a womb. You're a different makeup. So your biology is totally different. So I don't want to go into too much detail because, you know, about the biology of a male and a female, but it's very different. And we all understand males are not birthing; they don't have a womb, but they do have a life, you know, a source that where they help the woman to birth the child. But they're not at all giving birth to any child anywhere. So they cannot claim to be Maryam. They cannot claim to be Nisura Wright. They cannot claim my wealth. So thank you. Peace out.